Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to today's town hall. Thank you so much for joining us on this bi-weekly event. Hopefully you can see me. I seem to always struggle with the video on these calls lately. My video's on, so hopefully you can. We are live streaming and recording, so if you get disconnected at any point, please go ahead, head over to youtube.com/@hospitable, and you can keep up with updates there. We're going to kick off with some company and product updates as always, and we're going to try and leave some room for some Q&A at the end as well. If you do have any questions throughout the session, please try to keep them in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. Down there, you should see a little Q&A section. If you type them in there rather than the chat, we are far more likely to be able to see them and to be able to respond. We have plenty of people on the team here helping today, so we'll try and get to as many questions as we can. I'm going to briefly show our disclaimer, and then I am going to hand over to PC, who's going to do a little bit of an introduction of new team members.
Yes, that's what everyone is looking forward to, right? For this session. So yeah, we're still growing, and we're very happy to be welcoming Pedro in the company. So as is typical, we have to create some trauma on joining. And yeah, so Pedro, you can turn your camera on this time and share a little bit what you are going to be doing at Hospitable. Can you do that?
All right. Yeah, of
Yay!
course.
There you go.
Hey, everyone. Thanks, PC, for the introduction. My name is Pedro. I'm from Brazil. And what I'll be doing here is I'll be joining the Mogul plan, and I'll be focusing on improving the experience of already existing features around owner management, such as the owner portal, payouts, and payments, and of course, contributing to bringing new opportunities with the property manager marketplace.
Yeah, isn't that exciting? I know you're very excited about it. So hoping that we'll be able to see you on the town hall very soon. You're the second one joining Hospitable from Brazil. And I think actually you were working together with Marina prior, right? That's
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how it works. Thank you so very much. So yeah, we'll be hearing from you whenever on development for Mogul, and so especially working with property managers on the statements, on the payouts, and yeah, that means simplifying the user experience. And I know that Emily has been advocating for a front-end person in the team for a long time, so you can expect to see our customers some progress on this very soon. Thank you so much, Pedro. Yeah, without further ado, we're gonna go and talk about Vrbo, which obviously is a subject that has been making a lot of noise recently, and rightly so. So first, I wanted to share an update on the official Vrbo API development timeline. We have been sharing this timeline 2 weeks ago. We are still in the monitoring phase. It's basically ongoing, and there is collaboration that's obviously is very deep between the Hospitable team, with Marina and our team in particular, and with the Vrbo connectivity team. We are working on that every day. There is no greater urgency in the company to get that over the finish line. And we are very serious about the respect of the timeline that we've been sharing. We have an internal milestone with Vrbo, which is mid-March, and we know it's basically coming very, very soon. What that means, so that I want to be clear so that nobody mishear it, mid-March is not going to be a customer release date. It's an internal deadline, so we can get that integration over the line on between Hospitable and Vrbo. So that becomes technically ready for Hospitable to be onboarding progressively more customers and start enabling connections. We have been working with a restricted pilot, and we would like to make sure we are building more confidence before we start going onto a general availability release, so a release to everyone that wants this. We contemplate that by the end of March, we'll be ready to start onboarding US-based hosts that are opting into our merchant of record solution. I'll be sharing that a little bit later. We have every incentive in the world to go fast. We want to go as fast as possible, but we're not going to go live on something that is fragile and will create more headaches than the current situation, creating a new class of problems. We want no disconnect, for sure. We want no surprises. We want a self-service onboarding experience and higher reliability on the things that matter most for you and your short-term rental operation. I'm also confident while I'm sharing this that in the end, our Vrbo integration will be materially different and better than what is existing on the market today. First, Vrbo at Hospitable will be integrating with the last set of Vrbo APIs that we are piloting with Vrbo directly. That's for the engineers in the crowd, that's a GraphQL-based APIs. When you compare it to the older official Vrbo connection, some of you may have experienced that, by the way. You are used to that email that is still a disconnection email every day, reporting on problems that have been occurring between Vrbo and the property management software that you used. The latest API is eliminating those issues and those reporting. You will not receive disconnected emails. You will not have some surprise drops. You will not have a manual assist from Vrbo support to be reconnecting, for example, and brittle behavior on some core channel management functions. The core theme of that latest state-of-the-art API with GraphQL is the self-service onboarding. What it means that you are able to connect your Vrbo account without having a filter on the Vrbo side. And you can also have on our side, especially for us as a property management software, an instant confirmation that integration of the integration with the API is working successfully. Whenever there is an error, we will know immediately. And that gives us a greater confidence that we are able to offer a great quality of service immediately at a much faster pace than what is existing in alternative solutions. That promise is better than the existing Vrbo official integrations with modern APIs. The second part that's going to make Hospitable particularly special for you as a Vrbo integration is that we will be the only PMS that will be offering a merchant of record solution that will work for Hospitable. That will work for Vrbo, sorry. That includes the payment processing and the underwriting of your account as a merchant, able to process payments and receive payouts. Here is just one concrete example that I believe is really marking the difference and the level of responsibilities that is expected whenever you are taking responsibilities of that yourself. That should not be the case when you work with Hospitable. When the guest cancels, your payment processing fees will not be refunded. That means you will still have to incur the cost of the payment processing for the entire transaction, even if you didn't make a cent out of that reservation. That will turn into a real cost because we are dealing in this industry with high-value transactions with a high rate of cancellation. Under the Hospitable merchant of record, similar to how we approach it with direct premium, we will structure things so that when the guest has to cancel, you will not be the one eating those payment processing costs. They remain on us. It will cost you zero. There is also a very practical benefit. We'll take care of the least sexy part of the processing of the reservations. That means defining against the chargebacks on the same terms that we define chargebacks today on direct premium. And we will take on tax compliance responsibilities that would otherwise now sit on you. I don't think I can, and I don't think Brandon is going to be particularly happy if I'm sharing that, but I just wanted to share just yesterday, and I'm in the loop with all the emails on the registration, because I know this is something that has been particularly important and raised in the previous town hall where we've been sharing this. We have accelerated the registration now with local jurisdictions at a really, really good pace. Just yesterday, in the past 24 hours, we've been registering with Oklahoma City, Big Sky Resort in Montana, and I want to say it right, but I probably won't, Hillsborough County in Florida. Just yesterday in 24 hours, and I know there is a continuous work that Brandon is going through to be able to collect more taxes and be able to remit them on your behalf. You will receive more messages on that whenever the team is ready to announce it. And we are aiming as a company to reduce the path through taxes from 35% today to 15%. And there are, unfortunately, some jurisdictions that are not friendly to a booking platform, an OTA, or a payment facilitator like Hospitable to be processing, to be remitting ourselves. I hear there is some case like that in Hawaii. There are some other counties in Florida, for example, where there is basically no chance whatsoever. So we will not be able to reduce it to zero, but you know whether you are in this situation because you are doing it already. Now, as a product, we'll be offering that at a break-even rate, 90 basis points higher than the payment processing costs that are charged to you by Vrbo today. We will not make millions. We are breaking even. That does unlock resources to roll out a deeper tax compliance that will benefit our existing direct premium offering. Now, I'm sharing that today because I want you to understand the shape of what's coming, but we'll communicate, obviously, the details in due time. And we hope that's going to be something that you hear about again on the next tunnel. Now, you're here to ask, what about today? And as I shared before, there is one constraint that I need to name plainly. We operate under confidentiality obligations. So there are some specifics I cannot share on the tunnel. The team has been working their ass off for years and accelerated so since last June to have an official API integration that fits the bill of our customers, and we're crafting it as a product that basically makes sense, that we have high confidence into. We have no interest in damaging the relationship when we are so close to the release. I wish I would do more, but I have a certain responsibility in my communication with you. But some of you now, and that's the reason why I want to bring it up and share more, are taking decisions that are impacting Vrbo. You are saying that you are disabling instant bookings on Vrbo. You are saying that you are enlisting from Vrbo altogether. And we appreciate the cost that this may represent, the loss of opportunities that this represents on your businesses. We also have a new solution that is available for you today. And I will share, as I promised, a few numbers to show you how this is materially different or not from what was in place last Friday. Our current Vrbo integration is based on an unofficial path. Unofficial. It's something that we built years ago, back in 2017. That doesn't get me any younger, and has been very hard to be maintaining over time. Why was it the case? There was, at that point in time, in 2017, zero messaging APIs that would be working with Vrbo. There was no way to build a product like Hospitable was at that time. So let's be not technical. At a high level, we simulate a session. That means historically, that's involving your Vrbo credentials to establish a connection with Vrbo. So imagine Hospitable knocking at the door of Vrbo, passing some messages, and all of a sudden, ta-da, Hospitable can now connect to Vrbo. And overnight, that door turned into a wall. The door becoming a wall, you cannot pass messages, you cannot try harder at knocking. This is no longer working. We need a different route. So here is a story behind it and a timeline, because I think it was a surprise for some. On Thanksgiving weekend is the first time that Vrbo actually closed that door. Our team reacted during that weekend to build an alternative connection method that we would call the Chrome extension as a fallback route. Before we got the chance to release it, Vrbo reopened the old path and reverted so that the door will basically be open again for every account. But as we anticipated, that reopening was not permanent. And so a few days later, we believe, remember it was December 10th, we rolled out the Chrome extension as the only and recurrent path for new Vrbo connection. The accounts would not be able to be reconnected in any old way. So for many of you, you have been using the Chrome extension successfully since the beginning of December. And we've built real scale and real understanding of the behavior of the Chrome extension and how reliable it is. That approach, has been successful. Sorry, I'm reading my notes. Now, here's the updates, what changed in the last few days. The accounts that had been connected prior to December 10th using that door method were still able to re-authenticate. So we were still able to use that same methodology to basically continue the connection. But that was no longer possible then, as of, I think, Tuesday. So that is what triggered those disconnections. And now the Chrome extension is the only path. I think there is also some misunderstanding about the fact that maybe there is a product manager or someone in the company that really advocated for a Chrome extension. No such thing. We wanted to offer a solution that would be able to bridge the gap between the old way we've been doing things by processing the login and password and the official API release. There is no solution other than the Chrome extension. There is no bypass. The customer support team cannot restore the previous state of things. There is no amount of money that we can invest into our own research and development team to change the Vrbo application and platform. Cannot put 10 million on it. It basically will still not work. So since December 10th, when we have started the release of this Chrome extension, this is the success that we've seen. Today, 93% of accounts that are using the Chrome extension are successfully connected. There is a 7% number right now that has been disconnected and we need to be reconnected. The average session duration with the Chrome extension has been 45 days. That's the average. I hear reports about customers that are saying that they are disconnected immediately. I really will be directing you to some steps for resolution on this. 53% of the accounts that have been using the Chrome extensions have never disconnected. And out of the entirety of the Vrbo accounts that are connected, 66% are using the new method. I was sharing those numbers with our director of support, Nuran, and she was sharing that, nobody's going to believe that one. I'm obliged to the truth. I want to be transparent. I want to give you all the numbers, same way that I have. What I can share you, if basically you want to have some kind of instinct that it's actually genuine, the average session duration that we have with the prior method, the door method, was 95 days. That answers also a lot of questions that I've seen about why did you not communicate that earlier? Why would you not release that? Well, we have those NDA obligations. We are getting this official Vrbo API integration over the line, and there is nothing that will distract us from that goal. On the other side, we also know the Chrome extension is simply not as good as the prior path. Now, there has been also messages to say that basically nothing will ever work because of the Chrome extension. Those numbers show it does. There is a sustained session. We are still simulating the sessions accurately. There is no loss of functionality that are occurring. It's just a different way to enter the Vrbo home. We are still able to push pricing. We're still able to send messages. We're still able to retrieve reservations just as we were able to do earlier. There is no added latency, and everything that has been working on Friday does work now today. It's just a different way to enter. So if that was satisfactory to you prior, there is no reason why it should not be satisfactory to you later. And now, what to do now? And I know that every time that we're sharing something, it's inducing a lot of anxiety. As I shared, 93% of accounts are now reconnected and are connected on the Chrome extension. If your Vrbo account is currently connected and stable, there is nothing for you to do. We've actually discovered yesterday that there has been some confusion with users where there were some wrong messages on the Chrome extension. We've published an update so that there could be a better, more reliable, more trustworthy, really, experience of using the Chrome extension. If you get disconnected, if you can't reconnect, please, those are the ones that we are curious to hear about so that our support can guide you through it. What I'm asking you, though, is check out this QR code with a demo from Ray, who is working in a technical support team that is guiding you through all the steps to be connecting Vrbo. Some people have been following the help article notes successfully. Some have been asking Smarty to be guided, and that worked well too. Some are more visual, and this is the video that basically will help you to reconnect. If you're deciding something else, unlisting, turning out for instant bookings, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your business. My obligation is to give you all the information that I have available. We have an active bridge solution that works today, and we have an official integration that is moving forward within days, weeks, and that we want to be focused towards. So do what is right by your business. You don't have any other loyalty to have with Hospitable in particular, but on the basis of the information that I have, I would really genuinely encourage you to give it a chance, to use a Chrome extension, see what works. There is noise on social media. Those are there. We want to investigate why people are disconnected. What I want to say, and that's simply my own thing, there may be a bit of misunderstanding, especially for people that have not been dealing with Chrome profiles before, and you don't need to, frankly. But if you've been dealing with multiple Vrbo accounts, I want to share again, you can create your Chrome profile and you can reconnect with multiple Vrbo accounts on the same Hospitable account. And you don't have to stay connected. You can close your computer as long as you do not log out from your Vrbo account. The connection is stable. Whenever you log out, that will basically cause the disconnection of your Vrbo account. I want to share, obviously, our customer support team is very busy right now to be supporting customers. I want to share again, there is no other path, there is no resolution outside of the Chrome extension. Your needs are heard. We're going to be focused on the Vrbo API release. And yeah, I think I need to bring this to an end. Now, we need to move to the meat of this town hall, but it felt important to share more. And that is an update on Hospitable Task, brought to you by Andrew and our operations team.
Well, hello, everyone. Very happy to change the subject. Let's get started. So when we talk about automation at Hospitable, we usually talk about messaging, pricing, smart locks, but the real job of hosting isn't just communication, as you know, it's execution as well. Every reservation requires real-world work: cleaning, maintenance, inspections, laundry, trash hauling, emergency fixes, same-day turnovers. In particular, if we zoom in on cleaning, what we see is this is a big part of your week. You do a lot of cleans. While the majority of our hosts are averaging a handful of cleans a week, some of you are managing major cleaning operations. Overall, in an average week at Hospitable, we see over $10 million worth of cleaning fees pass through your accounts. Cleaning is not a side task. It is core to your business. But for years, this is where Hospitable has been light. We automate messages, we handle guest communication. More recently, we started optimizing pricing. But when it came to managing the actual work on the ground, we have not gone deep enough. We underestimated how operationally complex cleaning and other tasks really are. And the consequence of that is most of you are managing tasks outside of Hospitable. But one of the things that surprised us when we started looking into this last year is the vast majority of you aren't closing the gap with third-party tooling. You're getting by stitching together group chats, spreadsheets, secondary users, iCals, Zelle requests, jot forms, bank transfers, invoices. We've heard so many stories. How you're managing your operations was one of the most interesting things we learned talking to you over the last several weeks and months. For me personally, I think we did more discovery for this work, for this project, than on any other project I've been involved with at Hospitable. Just in the last couple of weeks, I count over 12 hours in my calendar of conversations with hosts, learning about what challenges you face and how our proposed solutions work for you. what you like and don't like about your current apps and workflows, what feedback you hear from your service providers. So, what did we learn in all those conversations? As the host, or as the property manager, you are at the center of very complex operations. There is generally lots of texting back and forth, especially on same-day turnovers between outgoing guests, incoming guests, the cleaner, cleaners, possibly an inspector, and you in the middle of it all, trying to make everything just work. And fingers crossed, there are no issues reported. Often the person assigned to do the task isn't the person who shows up. Tasks get distributed to what we call secondary teammates now, and you may have no visibility into who actually did the work. One host we spoke with, he has 4 properties. He has 4 different cleaners. Each cleaner has different payment terms. All 4 cleaners use different payment methods. They all have different expectations about how this is supposed to work, and our poor host just kind of juggles it all. We heard the same thing over and over again. Different versions of this. Every time I go to pay a teammate, I have to triple check that I've got the right teammate, I've got the right bank account, the right payment method, I've set the right amount for that I owe them, and when I hit send on that payment, it's not tracked or reconciled in any workflow that I'm using, so I've got to do all this bookkeeping. One host told us that he only pays cleaners quarterly, not because he wants to, but because that's how long it takes to catch up on his bookkeeping. And we're not talking about small amounts of money for this host. 1 quarter of cleaning for him is $25,000. He knows that situation is not tenable long term. And then we looked at the other side, the cleaners. Most tools are host first, not field first. Apps tend to slow your cleaners down. Checklists are long and mostly mundane. A host might require dozens of photos to be uploaded. Multilingual support in apps is generally weak. Payments take days to process. Fees are charged by many providers to access earnings by the cleaner and by the host. They double dip. So what happens? Checklists get ignored. Task management moves to group chats. Photos flood WhatsApp. Conversations from various reservations run together and overlap. Same-day turnovers are chaotic. And you're in the middle of everything. You don't just need task management. You want confidence. So, today, what if we could manage tasks inside Hospitable? What if task management was part of the same platform and same workflow as your reservations and your guest messaging? What if payments weren't something you reconcile later, but something that happened automatically, correctly, every time? With that, I'm going to call one of our product engineers on this project, Jake, onto the stage to walk you through all of the many things we are releasing today. And good luck, Jake. This is probably one of the more complex demos we've ever done at Hospitable. So let's dig in. Everyone give Jake some encouragement. This is a lot.
All right, thank you, Andrew. That was awesome. Thanks for the introduction, and great to see everyone on the town hall again. So let's try and basically cover operations and a few different changes that we've made over the last little bit of time. There's probably a few people that maybe haven't touched operations or any tasks in quite some time. So what I'm going to do is imagine that I'm coming into this fresh, first time, and I'm going to go ahead and want to start setting up some tasks for some reservations. So what we can see in front of us is Hospitable, of course, and we can go ahead and take a look at our calendar. So what we're going to see from this view is our tasks. So there's a lot of tasks going on here. There's a lot of stuff happening on the screen. You'll have to forgive mostly me. It's been a lot of testing that we've been doing. So hopefully the point still comes across. We can view our tasks from here for our property. And in this case, we can also make tasks as well. So what I want to show you is what that process looks like. So let's go ahead and create a task for today. you can see here we've got some of our other tasks, and I'm just going to go straight in and I want to make a new task. I've got a reservation, and let's say I want to make a cleaning task. So this is our create task view. And from here, you can see our different task types. We have cleaning tasks, check-in tasks, checkout tasks, and maintenance tasks. So maintenance for your repairs, anything routine. And in this case, let's go ahead with a cleaning task, I think. So we want to set that up for this reservation. So let's go next. Here you'll have an option then. How do you want to handle this cleaning? In our case, I'm going to use my own team. I've got some things set up. I've added a few teammates in operations. I'll show you that in a second. Yeah, I want to assign it to one of my teammates. Here we've got scheduled cleaning. We've got today. I've clicked today in the calendar. You saw that, and we've got times. So in this case, we'll go from 10 to 11 just to keep it simple. Okay, so I've got my task. I've got the right time for it. Now I want to assign it to one of my teammates that I've got set up. To make this confusing, I'm going to use myself, assign it to here, and we're going to take a look through here. So I can search in here. There's two versions of me again. Sorry, I've been doing a lot of testing, but let's invite this version of myself. So we can continue on there. Awesome. Okay, so now we've got checklists. And what we do with checklists, some of you may or may not have seen this, is we have AI generation of checklists. So we have a look at other properties, similar properties, other hosts that are doing the same thing. And we also look at your property and the context of your reservations to give you a checklist that we think is probably going to be pretty good to give to, let's say, your cleaner in this case. So going through this process for myself, I'm the host here, and I've actually just got a new fire pit outside. So I'm pretty sure we're running low on that. So let's go ahead and add a new task for my teammate to go ahead and restock the firewood on this fire pit. So just a little bit different to the rest of the checklist it's made. I just want to add a little bit of extra information. Cool. So we can go ahead and continue from there. So next up, the next stage we got when we're making this task is how should your cleaner access this property? You may or may not have smart locks set up on your property. If you do, you'll probably know that you can get the smart lock set up for your guests so that they have a unique code when they try and enter the property. In this case, we have the same thing, but for your teammates and for your tasks. So you can set up a one-time code to get sent out to your teammate. And we give you a little bit of buffer either side as well. So we give you an hour before, hour after for the teammate to get into the property and leave the property later on. In this case, this is just a test site, so this probably isn't going to work. So what I'm going to do is set up, and what I mean by that, sorry, is that the smart lock generation in this case with how this is set up is not going to look so good. So I'm going to do other access, and I'm going to provide some additional details here for my teammate, and in this case, my cleaner. So I've set up the access details, and we've got a little review of the task. Awesome. We know the property, we know the date, we've got some checklist information and property access. So that's fine. We can go ahead and we can create that task. Awesome. So what you can see here is that we've got a new task at the bottom here. But what I really want to flag is another change that we've made to this calendar view. Now what you'll see here is there are some tasks that are filled, some tasks that are not filled. So a non-filled task, which is like this one that we're looking at here. Let's do that. That is a task that you as the host have gone and assigned, but you haven't heard a response back yet from your teammate. It's been assigned, but they've not accepted or declined. Whereas if you look at a filled one over here, you're going to see a task that you've assigned and has been accepted by the teammate. Now, what you'll see, and what we found as we were talking to a lot of our teammates, is that this starts to get pretty busy. We're sending a lot of notifications, a lot of emails to your teammates, and that's starting to get a little bit overwhelming.
So I think what our teammates are, just to jump back in, what your teammates are asking for is workspace of their own. They need their own place to manage their own operations. And for that, we are today giving them their own space. So we're now going to introduce the Hospitable Tasks app. And Jake is going to start by going to his teammate profile of himself. And he's going to invite himself to start using Hospitable Tasks. So as of today, as of now, actually, very, very recently, everyone has access on your teammate pages to this button at the top of the teammate profile. And when you click on that, we're just going to send a simple email to anyone on your team and let them know, hey, I now manage my tasks in the Hospitable Tasks app, and they can start to accept or decline your tasks there and do much more than that. Back to you, Jake.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much. So you can see there, I sent the invite. Obviously, there it came up. I've been again been doing lots of testing on this, so it came up saying one has happened in the last hour. Regardless, what I can do now is show you exactly what that looks like. So we have sent an email to the teammate that you're looking at here, sending them an invite to start using the Hospitable Tasks app. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull that app up on another page and show you that separately. So if you just give me 1 second, doesn't like that. Okay, brilliant. Nice. Okay, so this is it. So the teammate has received their email, they've clicked login, and then this is what they see. We're just going to pause here for a second to kind of mull over. The point here is that I'm no longer the host in this scenario that I'm playing. I am now the teammate. I'm the cleaner in this case where we've assigned it. So this is my dashboard. Right now, what we've got is a list of our upcoming jobs for today. So in this case, I've just got one that I previously accepted. We've got some information about the time that it starts. We've got the information about the time it finishes. We know the property from this. We know the task type as well. And also we know the host that we're doing this for, so the client in this case. As we keep looking down, and we've also got payment information. So the earnings that we've had for this month. This is, $25 is probably, maybe other cleaners are getting a bit more than that, but I don't charge too much. So just the $25 here. So what we can do now, I think, is go ahead and take a look. Yes. Okay, so we can see there's a little notification that we've got for our jobs page. So let's go and dive a little bit deeper into the jobs, which is really what this is probably a lot about. So we can see here straight onto this page. Again, there's quite a lot going on here. So let's dive in bit by bit. So we've got a calendar view essentially. So we've got today, and what we can see is a kind of overview of each of these jobs. So in this case, what you can see is we represent how many cleans you've got, just so it's a little bit easier at a glance, with some dots on the day. So in this case, I've got 4 dots for today. I've got 4 jobs coming up. And yesterday, you can see here, I had 1 job. So like I said, this is going to we're continuously trying to give like a good bit of information here. You can see little bits about what's going on. But really, what we're interested in here is the job that I've just assigned. So let's go over to requests. Awesome. Again, very similar to the other views. We're showing some information, the start date, the end date, the property, the task type, all of that kind of thing. And what we can actually do from this screen is now start to dive a little bit deeper. So let's go and click on that. And then we can load up a bit more of a detailed view of our task. Again, we're showing the date, we're showing the start time, but also what we're doing is we're showing when the next check-in is. So in this case, I can see that check-in is today. So I know that we've got a same day turnover here. And we're also trying to put this task into a bit of context as well. So what you can see before I accept the task is what other jobs I have today. So I know that, yes, and there's also what you'll see is there's a bit of GMT mix up. That's because I'm using my computer. I'm in the south of England. So apologies for that. But still, it's useful information, right? I can see when my other jobs are and when other ones are coming up. Brilliant. So I think we can go ahead and accept that job. I've taken a look through it and I think I'm pretty happy. So let's do that.
So when Jake accepts that job, you as the host, you're going to get a notification. You've probably started to see these. We rolled this feature out, just accepting and declining a task, actually several weeks ago, and we added it on to your existing notifications. We just added a couple buttons, accept, decline, so you can start to have a little bit more confidence in the person doing the task has seen your notification and they've accepted that job.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next step, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what this starts to look like from your point of view as the host, and also from the teammate's point of view going through the job. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up both screens, and I'll try and make it pretty clear which screen is doing what, because there can be a lot of information on that page. So
we have a very savvy audience. I'm sure they'll keep up.
yeah. I'm not sure if I'm savvy enough to change the width of this though. Here we go. Okay. Ooh, wrong button. That's painful to watch, isn't it?
It's advanced Mac OS lessons here.
Right, and shaky hands. Okay, so what we can do is go ahead and have a look at our tasks. So this is also a new page that you've probably not seen before. So we are starting to display some more information that hopefully is going to be a bit more useful to you guys when you're looking at tasks. So here we've got the operations overview. Now we've got 4 tabs at the moment. The first tab is the needs action tab. So that's going to be describing items that maybe have unread messages or have been declined, or still need to have a teammate assigned to them. Something that's quick and accessible, and you can pretty easily make changes to them and action them. As we keep moving on, we're going to see some of our tasks that are in progress, and we're going to see some of our tasks that are in progress, and I'll just keep going through. We've also got upcoming ones, so ones that are waiting response. Brilliant. And then also on the last tab, something that we've not been making very accessible before, tasks that have happened in the past. So at this point now, look, you can see things that have happened before, have an idea of what's going on, if they've been completed, what state they've been left in, and that's going to be pretty useful. To kind of see have a bit of a look back at what's been happening. So let's go ahead and now switch back to the teammate point of view. So over here, hopefully this is all pretty clear. We're looking at the teammate. Now, what I'm going to want to do is start letting the host know what's going on with the task. So I'm going to say that I'm on my way. I'm on my way to go and complete the cleaning. A little confirmation message, and let's do it. So that's awesome. Now let's just do that. My apologies. So what you'll see then at that point is that we show that task in progress. Brilliant. So we can see that the status is on the way, and I can click on that there, and then there's some more information. So again, left-hand side, your view, right-hand side, teammate view. Now, what we'll start to do is give some more live updates for what's going on. So currently we've got on the way. If I were then to go ahead and mark this as arrived on site as the teammate, arrived at the property, what you'll see, shall I pause here?
Yeah, what you'll see is us trying to do a good job of trust, but verify, but don't block. I think a lot of the things we heard from host is that some of the apps are too strong-footed, maybe, with enforcing things. And so what we see is Jake's condition or Jake's location doesn't match the location of the property. So we're questioning, okay, have you really arrived? But what we know talking to you is you're working with trusted cleaners, and sometimes exceptions occur. And we want to let those exceptions happen without basically breaking the flow of the app so they can't actually do the clean. So we just throw up a little warning there and say, yep, continue without my location matching. And Jake can click through there.
Brilliant. Cool. Right. So let's continue. And then this is similar to what we were saying before. So you'll see the live updates now. So I've just marked it as in progress, and a few seconds later, you can see that information from the task view. Now, what we heard when we were talking a bit about this with you guys is that arrived is a pretty important step. We want to know when the teammate has arrived. A lot of you will know how long these tasks take. So when a cleaner or when a teammate is marking themselves as arrived, we go ahead and we send a notification to you to let you know that the teammate has arrived. So let's just sorry about this. So there you go. So for example, this is it showing up in the inbox. You can see because it's the same day turnover, we've marked that thread as unread, so you've got that notification to go and have a look, and from here provide a bit more information about what's going on.
Check, this is actually the next reservation. So this is something totally new and Hospitable. Normally, when we have a cleaning, it's associated with the reservation that it's cleaning for, the previous reservation. But since this is impacting the incoming guest as well, what we're doing is on a same day turnover, we mark the thread as unread, and we add this event message that lets you know on a same day turnover when your cleaner has arrived. Generally, we find you know how long it takes to clean your property, and at that point, you now have a great talking point to engage your guests and either sell them or provide them early access to the property or let them know that it's not going to be ready in time. So we're pretty excited about that, making that context with both reservations that are impacted by a task rather than just one side of the context.
Yep, awesome. Thank you. So let's go and head back to the task so we can keep keeping a track on what's going on. Right. So now it's arrived, and I think we should just go through here and let's mark it as we're inside. So we're in a state now where we can start to do the job from the teammate point of view. So let's go ahead. We've got these, we've got these pieces of information here. We've got the notes from the host, so that was the access information. We've got arrival photos, we've got the checklist, and we've got completion photos, as well as the option to report an issue. Arrival photos, completion photos, like Andrew was saying, we're not trying to like enforce things here. So these are just kind of places that we can put information. So let's do that. Let's go and add some photos. So I'm going through my property, and here we go. I've taken some pictures, and this is how it looks right now. Nice. You can go and have a look through them. And what
you can see on the host side. Yeah, sorry, I'm talking over you, but yeah, it updates almost as fast as it uploads from the app. It's available in the inbox and in the task and the reservation, wherever you're finding that task. You have real-time access to what the cleaner is seeing, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Okay, so there's a few things now when we move to the checklist. So there's a few things to call out here. What you'll see is we've got some information that says the host has added things they didn't usually ask for. So let's go ahead and click through. And that comes back to, if you remember a few moments ago, I said that I've just got a new fire pit and I added restocking the firewood. So this is particularly useful, if the checklist is similar a lot of the time, and then there's something a little bit different to really like draw the teammates' attention to make sure.
We definitely heard a lot of hosts telling us that their cleaners don't use the checklist. So yeah, when you actually add something that's important, we want to make sure that we flag that.
Cool. Okay, so let's continue and let's start going through this checklist. So from the teammates' point of view, yep, great. I've done this, and you'll see again, like we've mentioned a few times, we've got those live updates coming straight in to the task, to the host point of view. But actually, as I'm looking through this is starting to get quite wordy for me, and I'm not a natural English speaker, so maybe I wanna change that language and have a little bit of a different look at it. So let's see. The Hospitable Tasks app is completely translatable into Spanish. So we heard a lot that this is something that's quite important. All you have to do is head over to the profile section, come straight here, change your language, and you'll see everything.
And if this wasn't just a ruse and Jake was actually a Spanish speaker, we would have automatically set the app to Spanish. But since his browser is in English, we chose English.
Exactly. Okay, and then in fact, I can speak Spanish so poorly that I actually don't know which task it was that I was looking at. Okay, great. Here we go. And brilliant. Now, this wordy checklist that I was looking at has been translated into Spanish for me. Lovely. So now I can keep clicking through, and we can go ahead and tick off a bunch of these as we're going.
But again, we're not forcing the checklist to be completed. We know a lot of you told us that, hey, the checklist is there for reference. I don't need my cleaner to be pushing buttons all the time. I need them to be cleaning. So we don't enforce it, but we give you the context of how much of the tasks they did mark complete. So you have that. And if it's important to you, you have the ability to enforce that with training, but not forcing it through the app that they can't complete a job without checking 86 boxes on an app.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. So I'm just going through this checklist again one more time. Let's have a look. And as the teammate, I've just noticed that actually we're running a little bit low on floor cleaner, right? So probably I think that I should go ahead and let the host know that next time I clean, we're gonna need some more floor cleaner here. So let me just go ahead and send them a message and let them know. Brilliant. Again, so here comes through the live update of the message, and we can have a look. Awesome. So we can see from the host point of view, that's been translated to English for me. I can take that, we can write a response, and we can let them know, yeah, sure, we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I think at this point, yes, and so fine, we've let them know the floor cleaner is running out.
This is where you find an issue. This is where you find an issue, Jake.
There's too many bits. This is the bit where as I'm going through and I walked through the kitchen door, I found that there's a few marks, a few scuffs that have happened that I haven't seen before. And while I'm here, let me just quickly change it back to English so that I can actually understand what's going on.
And the rest of the audience.
Yes, so we can all know what's going on. Okay, great. Okay, so now we've got the report an issue button. And so in here, simple as it sounds, let's go ahead, kitchen door frame damaged, and we can add some evidence of that as well. Brilliant, they're going to go ahead and get updated. And then what you'll see is...
you have to add it first.
You have to add it first, I do that every time. There you go. So issues reported, we can see it again. This is from the host point of view. We can see the evidence. There you go. Awesome.
And you're going to get a notification on that too, just so you don't miss it. And you'll know immediately because a lot of you have workflows. We're going to start to tie into those workflows in the future. But yeah, if you need to hold a security deposit, you need to notify the incoming guest, the outgoing guest that there's a problem. We notify you as soon as the issue is reported and you can start to take action on that.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay. So I think at this point, we've gone through, we've added some pictures, we've checked some things off. Let's complete the job. And so we'll just double check. We can mark it as complete. Brilliant. Done. What you'll see now is that this task from the host point of view, again, you'll also get a notification at this point, and you'll be told that the job's been completed, and then you'll be prompted to essentially review the task, have a look at what's gone on, see if you're happy with it, and then this is where the payment flow comes in. So you'll see on the task, as well as all the other information, you'll see this payment section is here now. So we can set up a payment. Now what we do is we give you the option to set whatever payment you want. You know, I'm going to leave it at $100. Maybe that'll increase my earnings for this month. Yeah, so we've got a breakdown here. Oh, it went down. We've got a breakdown here. You can see the payee. So I've set that up. That's me as the teammate. And we can see the payment account there.
And that's something we didn't show, but also in the Hospitable Tasks app, they have space in their account section and they can connect a bank account.
Yeah.
And then once, both sides of the cleaner or the teammate and the host, once they both set up bank accounts, this is now going to basically be able to send a payment. We allow you to review a cleaning. Most of you told us you don't need to. Generally speaking, you can address any issues after the fact. Again, these are your teammates. So when you get that confirmation email that the job was completed, you can go ahead and smash the button and approve the payment. Otherwise, if you're too busy, which many of you are, we're going to give you 24 hours to come back into this payment flow and say, hey, there was a problem. I don't want to pay this cleaner automatically. I want to delay that. You can basically opt out of an automated payment. Otherwise, it's completely automated 24 hours after completing a job. And we're going to put the money in the teammate's bank account in 24 hours. Once you hit that button, it's nearly an instant payout. So it's a really nice, I think, behavioral psychology boost for your operations to be paying your cleaners within 24 hours or even faster if you respond to that. And we'll give you more options in the future on that. But yeah, you'll be able to pay out instantly, basically, on the completion of a job if that's what your preference.
Okay. And I think with that, that's me.
Okay. And we are so close to time.
Yeah.
Like I said, that was an insane complex demo. But thank you, Jake, for doing all that. I'm going to try and wrap up very quickly. Okay. One last theme to cover. So like we said with the checklist, etc., we're not building a rigid compliance app, a rigid compliance machine. We're building tools for you, the host, and your trusted cleaners. This theme came up throughout our conversations, and it was often in context of making a point about another app that you're using because it just adds too much friction. It tries to force behaviors. That's not what you told us to build for you. We're building something flexible enough that your team embraces our solution as a helper, and it doesn't create a hurdle. But it's professional enough to reduce the chaos, to help naturally bring processes into your operations, better processes. I'm going to show you a preview of a few other pieces of this app that we could not get ready for today. This was already a pretty audacious scope, and we'll show you how this idea of being a helper and professionally your operations is also at play. So first, guest reviews. Today, many of you are trying to get better quality from your cleaners by doing this manually. You copy and paste reviews that come in that are relevant to your cleaner, and maybe you add this to the group chat you're in, and they're like, which reservation did this refer to? Okay, I know I need to do a better job, or I did a great job. Great, thanks. Some of you are running, tips on this. If you get a 5-star review, that's great. This is a process that is begging for a technical solution. What we're going to be doing very, very soon is that dashboard, which looks a little bare at the moment, is going to have a feed of reviews for that teammate. And we're going to use AI to process only the bits they care about. So when your guest writes a real long review, we're going to read through that review, find the places that are saying, hey, you're doing a great job, you're doing a bad job, the shower is moldy, whatever. And we're going to pass that on instantly to your teammates so they get that feedback. And we're going to show them not the overall guest review score, but the part when they're being assessed, which is the cleanliness category score. And they're going to have a feed in the app where they can see their performance. And we're eventually, a little bit step later, going to help you automate an incentive program. The hosts that told us they're doing this have gotten great results. I collect $220 in a cleaning fee. My normal cleaning fee is $200. Every time I get a 5-star cleanliness review, give that cleaner $20. Begging to be updated and automated. We can't wait to do that for you. 2 more things that we're not able to get done in time. Cleaner scheduling. And this one is super exciting. It's in that theme of, yeah, I have a casual relationship. I trust my cleaner. They have access to my calendar. They get the job done eventually. That's okay. It's not great. We think we can help you. So can we click to advance? Okay. So looking at that jobs page, you'll notice in the upper right corner of the task time, there's a pencil. This doesn't work just yet, but we're going to let you reschedule tasks to when you actually think you can do them as the cleaner. This is happening. Maybe some of them aren't communicating it, others are, but it's a lot of back and forth text messages. Hey, is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I change this task time? We know the context of in which that task time can be changed. And so when they click to edit the task time, we show them that context. So here they have a checkout, and then they have their next job that they're starting because they're using the Tasks app, and we give them only the times that they could choose. Let's look at a different scenario though. Here, it's the same day turnover. So we're flagging that on the job. Hey, it's the same day turnover. You have a much narrower window, and we're showing them they also have other jobs scheduled that day. So they also scheduled today, they have a previous job and a next job. Next view. So we only give them the 3 other options that this would work, given the task time, the checkout period, their other job, and the next job starting after that, and the check-in of the next incoming reservation. So there was a lot of thought that went into this. We think this is a great way to help bring better processes that are actually helping the cleaner, but they're also helping better communicate to you as the host. Last one. So we showed a very basic version of what photos, arrival photos and checkout photos, basically, sorry, your post-clean inspection, your arrival walkthrough. And this one is quite difficult. I hate to rush this, but there was basically this tension when we talk to host and we talk to cleaners. Hosts say, okay, I like photos. I can get 30 of them and I can, quickly peruse them and know, okay, this is the state of the property. This was the state of the clean. I can do my QA selectively. But when you talk to cleaners, they're like, I have dozens of photos that I have to take over specific things. It really slows me down. Some of them aren't in focus. I get trouble for that. Photos are awful. Let me take a video just walking through the property. Now, how do we reconcile this tension? One thing that we're going to do very soon, we have like a prototype of this working. It's going to be awesome. We're going to prompt the teammate to, on arrival, walk through the entire property, videoing what they see, but also speaking about what they're seeing. Now, they can do this in whatever language they speak. They can be doing this in Spanish. Great. We're going to use AI transcription, and we're going to process what they're talking about, and we're going to find out what is an issue, what's interesting, what's not. Okay, the kitchen is great. Everything's good. But, oh, now I'm in the living room, and there's a stain on the carpet that I didn't notice before, and the table is scratched. Next one. What we do with that information after we process is we give you a product that is both a video and the organization of photos, the quick thing. We chapter your video for you and point out the interesting things with timestamps. And so you can see, oh, there are actually a lot of issues reported in this video. I need to watch this, or I can skip ahead to a chapter. We think this is a great hybrid that addresses both sides of the cleaning operation. And we're really excited to get this out. Similar solution for your basically QA on exiting. So trying to wrap up here. What you saw today, take out the last 3 slides of that, is available today to all of our customers, with the exception of payments, which are only available to hosts on our Host, Professional, or Mogul plan with properties in the US. Unfortunately, payments are a US only feature, and it's not available to any of our legacy customers, but you have one more reason now to upgrade. You can invite your teammates to the new Hospitable Tasks app today. They can connect their bank accounts. You can connect your bank accounts. You can create tasks. You can create task rules, and you can start to manage jobs, assign cleans, use checklists, message between the host and the cleaner, report issues, collect photos. All of that is available to all hosts today, given the restrictions I just said. Now, paying your own team. The vast majority of you are paying your cleaners out each clean. That's great. We think that's the best experience for everyone. We want to enable you to do that more easily, but payments do have a cost. So you saw there was a fee there. We're going to provide this, next slide, please, at no additional charge if you pay your teammates monthly. So every active hospitable property gets 1 free transfer to a teammate per month. You also don't have to pay through Hospitable if you don't want to. This is an optional service that you get, and we're giving it away free once a month per property. After that, it's a 1.5% fee, but we're capping it at $5. If you're doing the math in your head, that's a $333 cleaning fee that basically you reach the $5 cap at. We will not charge your teammates to get paid. The money shows up in their bank account nearly instantly without any fees attached. For the next couple months, until May 1st, we're going to give this away entirely. There will be no fees charged on payments. Now, one reason we want to do this is we want everyone to experience how nice it is to get paid immediately after completing a job. That's also going to help us, help you get adoption of the new app, as it's how your cleaners will get paid and other teammates. But we also don't have a payment term feature yet. So there's no ability to bundle or batch payments. Each payment is going to go out after each job. Another reason we're not going to charge for it until we have that. If you're a Mogul user, you have the additional benefit that each payment automatically generates an expense that you are able to track and assign according to the rules of your own business. So, other things that are coming next, I think you have to click, sorry, one more time on this one. We don't support multiple payment methods yet. You pay from one payment method in Hospitable. We're going to fix that very, very soon. This is mostly working. If you have, I totally talked to a host, 11 properties, 11 bank accounts. I know that's not an exotic setup. We're going to make that possible. That's not possible today. We're going to allow you to pay weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, however you like, by setting up payment terms. We're going to release that great video walkthrough feature. We're going to give you the ability to report on inventory in the app so your cleaners can do that. We're going to enable this experience of secondary teammates. So if you have a cleaning manager who basically reassigns your tasks, we don't have a solution for that today to help that reassigned teammate use the app in a way that's a slightly different experience than your primary cleaner. We're going to allow you to pay by credit card. A lot of hosts asked for that. They said, hey, when it's low season, cash flow is tight, I love to be able to finance my expenses. We're going to help you do that. and we're going to eventually be able to expand the payment regions. So this is available outside of the US for the payment solution. So that was a ton. We're already way over time. I haven't been cut off yet. If you want a demo of this, you can do the walkthrough demo by scanning the QR code. This is all recorded on YouTube. You can rewatch the recording. And if you really have nothing better to do, you could come back next week, same time, and we're going to be doing a Q&A session for anyone that's had a chance to look at it, play with it, and has feedback on how we can do better. We can't wait to hear from you after you've tried this. And with that, if we're still anyone in the audience, I will pass to Marina to talk about some connectivity items.
Hello, thank you, Andrew. So today I want to answer a question that I get a lot is how do I get my listings to perform better on Booking.com? And I will cover 2 things that I think you can do quickly today, and that will help you get more visibility and bookings on Booking.com. So the first one is, are you already on Genius? Because if you're not, then you should be. So Genius is a loyalty program on Booking.com for their guests who book frequently. And because they book frequently, they're usually cancel less than other guests, and they're willing to pay a higher price for the reservations. A result of that is that you get a little badge that is shown to Genius guests that get you 70% more search result views from Genius customers, which is insane. 30% more search result views in general, 45% increase in bookings, 40% increase in revenue. This is all on Booking.com. Genius travelers spend 15% more, book up to twice as far in advance, and leave 29% more reviews. So they're a really high quality guest. And I feel like you should really join Genius and try to get more of those guests on Booking.com. So now let's see how you can join. So the requirements are that you have 3 previous bookings, that you have an average rate of 7.5 on Booking.com, and that you offer them a minimum of 10% discount to Genius members. It's not available for you to join on Hospitable, but I think it's insane. I think you should really join. I think it's going to help you get a lot more bookings. So I put a QR code that you can scan, and it's going to take you to Booking.com where you can read all the information about the program, how it works, and then sign up for Genius. Now, the other thing I want to talk about today is something that you can change from Hospitable, which is the non-refundable booking policy. So some guests, they don't mind paying a little bit more expensive if they get some flexibility from you. While some guests, they want cheaper prices. You can boost your visibility and your bookings if you offer both, especially on Booking.com, where they have a filter on the side where they can select free cancellation. Everyone who offers free cancellation, the most flexible tier that they have, get really, really good visibility on their search results. However, we know that some hosts right now, they're either super flexible or they're super strict and they're not doing the non-refundable booking policy, which is something that's really good for you. Let me explain how that's good for you. So the first thing is if you are currently on a flexible cancellation policy, there is absolutely no reason why you should not offer a non-refundable option. Why? Because if you offer the non-refundable option, you will offer them a discount. It could be 5%, it could be 10%. You will be shown to more guests, and they'll lock in a discount for not being able to refund that booking. It is a huge win for you. It's a huge win for them. You should definitely do that today. But now, Marina, what if I have a strict cancellation policy because I don't like when guests cancel? Well, you should also set that up, but with a little twist, which is you should increase a little bit your prices on Booking.com, let's say 5, 10%, and set your cancellation policy to be flexible. What that means is that if someone really wants flexibility, they should be willing to pay more for it. And then you also set your non-refundable booking policy and give it a 5 or 10% discount, which means that you're still getting the same bookings that you were getting before, but being shown to a lot more guests than you were, your listing was being shown before. So this is a big advantage. And now I'm inviting Tim to the stage to talk about the new navigation. Thank you.
Thanks, Marina. Hello, everyone. Interest of time, I'll shorten this by probably just saying the same number of words, but faster. So we spoke about updates we are making on how you move through the product on the last town hall. These are now live. So we've released a clearer, more intuitive navigation that's actually organized around how you work. We spent a lot of time conducting surveys, running live user interviews to a solution that we think works really well. That's enabled us to remove a lot of clutter. There's now fewer, more meaningful menu items. And instead of multiple menu layers, we now have just clear navigation tabs. So to re-illustrate an example for you on the next slide. So on the left, we have the current navigation experience for guest experience. You have the primary menu with 14 different items. You then have the secondary menu for guest experience with 15 different items. Not only does that take up a lot of room, can be pretty overwhelming. So now then on the right, we have the new navigation for guest experience, where we have just 9 primary menu items that expand into more intuitive subsections, so messaging, AI, guest portal, and reviews. And then there's no secondary menu. Instead, we have these navigation tabs. So for messaging, you have custom codes, messaging rules, and responses. This makes it a lot simpler, more intuitive to navigate around, like I said, but then also removing that secondary menu creates more space on that page, makes everything else a little bit bigger and ultimately less crowded. Thus far then, 5,484 of you have opted into and are using this new navigation. The feedback so far has been good, highlighting some of that for you. So it looks sleek and clean. I love it. It's easier to see and use. I like it. 4.8 stars, very oddly specific, just missing 0.2. A lot better than the old one. And then finally, I like how easy it is to get to where I need to go. And for further validation, over 99% of the hosts who have opted into this new navigation remain opted in and don't revert back. So it must be good. Final slide then. If you have not made these changes yourself yet, everyone can now opt in to the new navigation by clicking on your profile icon in the bottom left of Hospitable and selecting navigation. You can switch back to the old navigation at any point if you're just wanting to try it out. And then alternatively, you can scan the QR code on the screen and explore an interactive demo of the new navigation instead. And you can leave us feedback on those changes directly in the demo. We will gradually be removing the old navigation and rolling out the new navigation to everyone. No timeline on that yet, but we will be giving everyone enough time to get comfortable with the new changes first. That's all from me. Back to Andrew, I believe, to talk about dynamic pricing. Oh, Mogul, I was wrong.
And I'm going to talk about Mogul because Emily had to run. So we're starting with a friendly reminder that that February statements and invoices are now ready to publish, and you can schedule your owner payouts or issue owner invoices now. And for those of you who haven't taken advantage of this or maybe aren't on the Mogul plan, Mogul automates your monthly statements and invoices and delivers them to your owners in a customized branded owner portal on your own domain. Mogul includes one payout run per month, and you can pay out all of your owners in one go, making this completely free service fees for both you and your owners. And monthly owner invoices are included as well. No service fees for your owners on monthly invoices either. You can follow the QR code there for more guidance on setting up owner payments and payouts so you can get ready for the start of the month. And now on to a couple of recent improvements to share. These are live and ready to use. So you can now delete adjustments from your owner statements and invoices. We originally had a pretty heavy hand here and required these to be accounted for in some way. But after several great conversations that Emily had, she learned that, we no longer have a good reason to not report every single adjustment to the owner, especially in scenarios where you are refunding the guest for some reason and you don't want your owner to be negatively impacted by that. We also have a few owner portal improvements. So owners can now reset their password without going to you for help. We're sorry that it took us so long to get to that. They can also now manage their bank account details from the portal even after they initially connect their bank account. And last but not least for today, we've introduced a new payment term option for owner invoices. You can now make owner invoices due upon receipt, and that will be shown in the owner portal and will remind owners who haven't paid every couple of days until they do pay. And then final side for Mogul is a few improvements coming your way that are still in progress. So we want to improve how owners connect their bank accounts. We've heard that it's difficult to know why a bank account hasn't been verified. So we're hoping to surface those reasons to the owner so they can self-resolve them. We'll also be allowing owners to connect more than one bank account so they can receive their payouts or make payments from accounts associated with specific properties, in line with however they have their own business entities set up. For invoices, owners will also soon be able to enable auto pay, as well as additional payment methods if they don't want to connect a bank account and pay that way. And finally, you met Pedro at the beginning of this call. He's joining the Mogul team to also tackle a project that will make it easier for you to navigate around owner management. And that is it for Mogul. Finally, I think on to Miles to talk about events.
Yes, thank you very much, Abby. So I'll channel my inner Tim here and try to do an abridged version of this. Same words but faster, as he said. So we do have the third and final part of our US taxes and compliance webinar series coming up next Tuesday. So if you want to check out that with our accountant in residence, Brandon, please scan the QR code at the bottom. If you missed any of the other sessions and want to check those out, please go ahead and scan the QR code at the top. We'll also try to dump those into the chat as well. And I'll move on to our next topic. So also, as always, 2 weeks time, we already mentioned it, and we do have Town Hall again. I will just note on this one, if you are outside of North America, we do have a bit of a time change here this weekend. So you'll note that it will be an hour earlier for you. If you're inside North America, it's the same time as always. Best thing to do is scan the QR code, add it to your calendar, and then you won't miss the event. And last but not least on events, we do have an in-person workshop coming up in April. So that's going to be happening in London, UK. So come along, join the team there, get the insight tips on optimizing Hospitable to the max. Anyone and everyone is welcome to join that event wherever in the world you are based. If you go ahead, scan that, you can grab some tickets. We will also be at the Short Stay Summit that shortly follows that. So if you go to community.hospitable.com and stay in the know in there, we're also going to be trying to give away some free tickets for that conference too. And without further ado, I think PC might. No, he's not going to jump back on. I lied.
Yeah.
I think we're going to call it quits for today. PC. I don't think we're going to have time for Q&A, right? Want to try squeeze a couple in if we can.
Well, I always want to try and squeeze in. Basically, I want to
take
test.
us back a slide.
Is there a moment where there are no questions whatsoever? It's unfortunately we will not find during this town hall because we know it does last a long time. But I would still, this is a very long town hall. There's probably also a lot of questions. So if people have been sticking that long, let's have a few.
Sure. Yeah. So as always, if you do have a question, go down to the reaction button, raise your hand. When I invite you on stage, please click unmute, and we'll get started with Amir. Hello, Amir. Welcome on stage. If you can unmute and let us know your question, that would be great.
Morning, guys, from Dallas. Great work there on the new features and the hard work on the Vrbo integration. I know it's not a easy thing to do. With that said, I struggle with one of the things that is currently missing, which is guest communication. Today, we have only inbox as the means of communication, but lots of Booking.com customers and others do not use their app, and email and text or WhatsApp, especially for international travelers, is one of the bigger battle that I always fight. So I have to have some type of bonnet service and a text service, stuff like that. So I was really hoping
Yeah.
if I know there is something on the roadmap for WhatsApp and communication via text, but if that can be a better priority, I'd be really grateful.
Yeah, what can I share? I think Andrew will be popping in anytime. So we are indeed working on this. We're working on this very actively. So one developer is working on what can be done. You're no stranger, obviously, to the recent development that have been occurring on Airbnb, for example, with the vanity phone numbers. The challenge, obviously, I appreciate for Booking.com, it may not be like that, but if we want to have that, if we're spending the time and investing the resources to basically build that feature, we would like also to not have to introduce like a complex communication about you can use it for this platform and not for this other. So it needs to work for Airbnb. What we find is that basically the vanity number is not going to be possible to be texting a message to unless we basically literally take your phone. And I think whenever a lot of people that are wondering about basically those kind of text messages communication, they want to have that done by their phone number on their phone with some kind of continuity. And that pushes the expectation of this feature a lot higher, is that it needs to be good enough that you change your phone number on Hospitable, on Airbnb directly. So it's going to take a little bit more time. It needs to be ready for prime time. So we are working on this. There is an active development. We know we can have some two-way sync. I think there are already some posts on the community where you can join, you can share your feedback and maybe join a pilot. So that can be a great way to test. I will share that with the engineer in charge of those things. But yeah, there are going to be probably a town hall on this because I'm very excited personally about what it could mean for Hospitable, and especially having all the communications that are all available in one place, and the potential for integrations across different parts of the product that it means.
Wonderful. So, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm just here. I'm reading on the chat because I see a message here from Jamie about 1.5%. So it's basically capped at $5. So if we're talking about the payment processing fee, so it's never going to be 1,000. It's a maximum $5 per listing per cleaning. That's what we have been seeing. We've been sharing. Yeah, I think that's it. We don't have anyone raising their hands. So Miles, we can finish it. But unfortunately, I'm the one that has to finish and do a wrap up. So this was a long, I'm sorry. Thank you very much for everyone that has been following along up to this time. We've been sharing updates on our Vrbo official integrations. We've been sharing updates about what is going on. Why are we asking you to connect on this Chrome extension? We appreciate the pain that goes through. We have every incentive to go as fast as possible on the official integration that will be bridging this gap. However, we also have a responsibility to our customers to deliver a product that is ready for prime time. We have shared as well with you today a very exciting Hospitable Tasks product with a full cleaner portal that is adding to our existing marketplace integrations to be recruiting your own cleaner, to be recruiting a cleaner via a marketplace. And now we are allowing the same features to be available to you as for your own team, which the location tracking, the checklist generated by AI, with a product that is made to trust, not control, as Andrew has been sharing with you. And that I'm going to also ultimately pay cleaners. There is a lot of product that we want to have on this, and especially, again, very nicely integrated and interconnected with other parts of the product. You have seen issues being flagged. I think one of the parts that we're exciting is how can it work with insurance, damage protection, security deposits, where we believe there is a great way to kind of close the circle and saving you time and protecting your properties, which we'll continue to do. Yeah, so thank you very much. Stay tuned. I'm not going to be a stranger. I will be available on social media and on community to answer any other questions you might have. Thank you so very much. Have a great rest of your day.